Aloha, family. This is your boy Juro. It is currently 10 p.m. here in Hawaii, and I know some of y'all have been frustrated, especially with the environments that have been playing out for the last 4 to 6 weeks. And let me just throw this out here first and foremost. You're not crazy. You're not. And everything is a test. See, we are in a cycle, family, that the things that make up your inconsistencies, to fuel your insecurities, your doubts, they're being brought to the forefront. Mm-hmm. To some, these are nothing but emotional triggers. To others, we also know that this is about a spiritual reset. What I mean, Gerald? Well, first and foremost, I would be remiss to not put this out. First of all, this video is protected by Section 107 of the Fair Use Act. All media that is owned by said proprietorship that may be disseminated through this said video is protected under that. This is for critique and educational purposes only, because I understand the creator has to be acknowledged, rightfully so. No attempt of monetization will be requested from me. So, once again, this video is protected by Section 107 of the Fair Use Act. All media, owners, proprietorships, and conglomerates that have said entitlement. This video is protected and demonstrated through educational and critique use only. No monetization will be sought. Now that that's out the way, because I know that there have been instances where, there's been red flags been put up because of my content. I get it. I understand it. Because we are family in a pivotal moment in our lives, in history. When you look back at yourself 5 years from now, if you authentically do what's required for your life, you will not even recognize the person you have become. Let this sink in. Because see, what I'm trying to convey is transformation. For some, transformation may be interpreted as freedom. For some, they may be interpreted as evolution of self. But what is a journey without a foundation? And what is a foundation that is not claimed? So, where am I going, Juro? Where am I going? Family, you may not realize this. I'm sorry. I am sorry. If this is your first time stumbling on this content, my name is Gerald Davis. I am a spiritual person. I place the Most High before everything I do. And for some, I can be your voice of reason. And I say that because of the fact that you deserve to have the life you intend. But it's not going to be easy. To obtain your dreams, to make them a reality, there are certain things you are required to do. The, the first thing is you must be able to listen. I know somebody's saying, I do that all the time, Gerald. But see, that the problem is a contrast because as I listen, nobody hears me. So I got to act out. I got to make sure that my opinion is felt at all costs. Who am I talking to? My king, my queen. First of all, before I go into that point, because I do know that there are those that have a hard time with using that term of endearment. Well, first and foremost, I've been rocking that since 2011. I've been around since 2011. My subscriber base does not reflect that. But all you have to do is go back to my archives and look, and you will find a catalog of discussion. Because everything that was conveyed, recorded, and shared, oh yeah, you can share my content, came from a place of love. So if you're looking for controversy, if you're looking for discourse, you're not going to find this here because I'm going to convey to you what you need. But it does not matter, nor can be measured if you're not receptive to hear. See, there's a difference between listening and hearing. What I'm trying to convey to you is I'm trying to reach your spirit. I'm trying to reach your heart. Because there's far too many people on this planet, soon to be 8 billion strong, that if you cut it in half is 4 billion, because unfortunately people make decisions because we live in a realm where we have free will that unfortunately will not see tomorrow. And it's sad. We live in a world where common sense is not so common. We're in a world where everything of value is mocked and disrespected, and the things that should be discussed and protected, it is celebrated because it is of that low energy. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. But I'm a human being just like you. I've made mistakes. And I'm telling you what I would tell my child. I would, if given the opportunity. So, let's put this conversation in reverse and go back. See, To have full comprehension, you must be able to first be in tune with your senses. That's where hence the word common sense comes into play, because anyone can see what's in front of them. Anyone can feel what's in their presence. And anyone can hear what has been conveyed. And of course, you can taste, you can smell. But one of the greatest senses you will ever be bestowed is your discernment. What do you mean, Gerald? Discernment. For some who cannot relate, your discernment, if you try to water it down, and you've heard it as long as you've been around on this planet, you may have heard it as your gut instinct. You may have heard it described as intuition. And those are usually used for those who have yet to accept and embrace their spiritual connection. Oh, he said spiritual. Yes, I did. I say it with love. I say it with commitment. I say it with compassion. And I say it with devotion. Why? Because the moment you are in tune with yourself, with your connection with the Most High, you start to understand what is required to know what freedom is. No, Gerald. You talking about some slavery, imprisonment type stuff, ain't you? What is love that cannot be expressed? It is no different than someone having the highest aptitude and no way to express it, but it's inside. So what I'm trying to convey to the intended ear, it's time. I would always say in my videos, if you've not, first of all, if you've not seen my Chronicles of Life, like I said, I've been recording since 2011. Actually, the pivotal moment was October 2012. But my breakthrough was in 2011. That was when I got to a point where what I thought, what I wanted, the veil came down and showed me what I needed. And I refused to continue on that emotional treadmill called confusion. I just wanted clarity. And once you decide to see what is important to you, guess what happens? You connect back with your inner child. Oh, I'm losing somebody because they don't understand. They think I'm talking out of some mysticism, and I'm trying to sound fantasy like I'm some fantasy. Oh, no. I'm talking to your heart. I'm trying to talk to you. How many tears have to flow behind closed doors because you feel that you're less than? How many conversations do you have to have behind that steering wheel? Because you're trying to find the voice of reason before you make that impulsive step. Who am I talking to? Listen, one of the things I used to always convey in my videos, the battle, the greatest battle that you will ever find is within yourself. It's not outside. But until you're willing to make a commitment to yourself, not to the person you lay with, not the person you work with, not the person that's on the cell phone when you hit call. I'm talking about the person in the mirror. That person. When you decide to see the worth of that person, there's going to be a call so great that's going to force you to make a choice. Now, see, listen. I don't have to remind you of what's in your reality. I don't. You can turn on your choice of social media and you will find a lot of noise. You will find a lot of defiance. And you will find a lot of people that want nothing more than for you to proverbially draw the line and pick a side. See, the only problem with that is this. Just like hip hop iconic group, Migos. Because I gotta find something I gotta find a group that you can relate to. Because see, I'm an 80s baby. I was born in the end of the 60s. So I grew up with real hip hop. But my second love, my first love is the Most High. My second love has always been music. So I really believe that I should have been should have been a DJ, because if they ever came out with Music Jeopardy, I would clean up across the board. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Like the Migos, you had the song "Walk It Like a Talk It," right? I hope I'm doing it justice. You got a lot of people that want to be on that screen, putting out a certain narrative, and that narrative is not for you to find you. It is to divide you. Why? Because the greatest resource that is at risk and has been at risk for almost the last 30 plus years is the family. It's the family. Daddy's not there. Mommy is mommy's had a nervous breakdown. She's looking for love. She's made choices the children have had to witness. Father should be there, but he's trying to figure it out. But he can't weave what he needs to make it stick, only for the children to inherit the burdens of choices not claimed. Who am I talking to? Whose reality am I talking to? So, when you look at social media today, it's easier to point the finger. There's a whole lot of judgment going on. But, what about the examples? You notice how everybody wants to have that that social continental the continental divide. But I've come to learn that anyone can complain, but what is a complaint without a solution? Because without a solution, all you have left is pretty much wasted words, venting, falling on deaf ears, which ultimately does what? It desensitizes you. It turns you numb. Why is it in 2022 our queen, our princesses have the burdens of a 60-year-old that's lived life? Why is it that our young kings do not have the proper mentorship and guidance, and you're left with the plight of figuring it out the best way possible? I think that burden falls on the collective. But what you won't hear is this: life is nothing but a one big chess move. And as long as there's discord going on, sadly enough, there is somebody investing, and you will never know. They look like you, and they don't. But what they do know is, as long as you don't embrace the reflection in the mirror back, they're going to benefit off of your confusion. Who am I talking to? And it's sad. It's very sad. But you won't find that here. Because I'm going to tell you, you are loved. But we all have to shoulder our choices. And unfortunately, we live in a world where pride and ego is put on the forefront, and accountability is stuff tucked away. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about the wounds that have only covered the gash and heartbreak. What is a wound not healed? It's a reminder. But if you allow society to convince you that just get up, dust yourself off, and not take a step to reflect what has transpired, your role in that, and how it could have been prevented, you're unable to see your worth. See, society wants you to believe that there is no recourse to choices made. They want us to be divided. They want you, Queen, to continue to think like a man, and then when the wounds get too big, they take no accountability. Why do you think society has convinced the human populace that the word accountability is like saying a curse word? But really, the word accountability actually is the key to freedom. Because see, if I acknowledge what does not work, it puts me in a position to choose differently. You can't use the victim card. You can't say, well, all this stuff happened to me, and um, I just I just go home and I'll cry myself to sleep and then turn around and repeat the same cycle again. No, who does that? You're not supposed to, and you're wondering why. You have so many women that convince themselves that you had to modify what made you beautiful all along. Do you realize that we still got to go through that factor in about 20 years because everybody that opted to go that route, and it's your choice. But guess what? Your genetics, your DNA is undefeated. Doesn't matter if you nip, tuck, lift, your DNA is priceless. It's perfect. And unfortunately, those in that profession know the truth. Doesn't matter what they do, it is undefeated when it comes to your DNA. Your genetics will claim itself one way or another. But see, I get it. We live in a world where society convinces little boys and little girls to bypass your innocence, to rush to become old, but does not support your wisdom, your development, your testimony. Why? Because if you did, you would be a threat. Who am I talking to? So, family, I hope you're still here. For those who do not know me, I talk about relationships. Oh, you're not going to get negativity. I'm going to tell you what it is from a person that has been blessed to experience pain. I've been through it. I've seen disappointment. I know what betrayal feels like. But the greatest betrayal you'll ever face is when you denounce the person in the mirror looking back. Who am I talking to? Millennials, slow your roll. Gain your knowledge. Be prepared to apply it when it's time. You have work that you have to do. The future generations rely on the decisions that you put in place for the generations that we have yet to come to know or ever will meet. That's for somebody. So, I'm going to get off my soapbox and give you an update. For some who do not know, in January of this year, I decided to pretty much force myself to be silent. And I was silent for almost 5 months. And in that process, I observed. I took note on how society was going, as well as the lack thereof in areas where support and dialogue should have been. I watched people indirectly that sentiment and intents were good, but were misconstrued by those who did not want to receive it. I'm not even going to tell you about the dream I had about I'm going to tell you about that dream I had and then about Kevin Samuels 2 days after he passed. Matter of fact, he died on the 5th. He on the 8th. I want to share that with you so bad, but in the right time and moment. And you're going to be amazed with what I tell you. But what I will tell you is this. Oh, he's in heaven. He fulfilled his purpose. And I'll leave it right there. Queen, everything that you desire must first be found within yourself. For some, they know by doing that in the opposite of pursuing what you want is like someone pursuing or having possession of what we call fool's gold. All that glitters is not gold. And there's an agenda. There's a blatant agenda to sway society's direction. But guess what? You know, as I was talking about discernment, for some of you, you're about to break through, and things that you could not see are going to be made revealed to the point you can't unsee it. And just know this: we are what we attract. And I'm going to go into that more in depth real soon. Just as like I had a request from one of my loyal subscribers, okay? I want to talk about how that connects with the connection with twin flames and how that ties into soulmates and soul ties. That's coming. But what's been going on with me these last couple of weeks? Well, I've been working on, slowly but surely, working on my spirit bedroom, so which will be where I will be going live. You know, I didn't go overboard, but I wanted it to look a certain way, and I'm like 92% complete. Hold that thought real quick. Okay, I'm back. It is bathroom. So yeah, so it's pretty much 90% complete. I got my equipment already set up. I actually went out and I ordered a secondary camera. I actually have a Canon R7 on the way. Should be here next week. And you know, one of the things that I always wanted to do, being here in Hawaii, is I wanted to record the island. Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen real soon, like starting next week. And now that I know that I'm able to go live, excuse me, I tried it out 2 weeks ago. That it gave me the go live option. So with that being said, what I'll do is, like everybody else does, I'll put a little quick one out saying, hey, I'm going to go live on this day, blah blah blah, and you guys got to show some love, thumbs up, share my content, because that's going to make the channel grow. Also, for the last 3 months, I'd already ordered a call-in line. So guess what? While I'm live, you can actually call in and ask the questions you want to ask. So I have that secured. What else? Studio's almost done. I got an extra camera, call in line, filming content on the island. Okay, that's covered. That's 4. And there's something else. Oh, almost forgot. I have. I've already. I've got 7 songs that I requested licensing for by an artist out of Paris, France. Um, he's a composer, pianist, producer. I fell in love with. He's very, very gifted, and when it's time, I'm gonna make sure that you. I don't want to say who it is. Probably don't know him anyway yet, but he's gifted, very, very talented, very, very talented. But you'll be hearing his material woven in. Um, I'll use some of it as intros, some of it will be underlining intro, outro music. I just want to keep it, I just want to keep the vibe correct. And I want to have the discussion because it seems like you go online nowadays, you look at whatever your server, whatever your social media platform is, and everybody likes to argue. No one wants to listen. Nobody wants to have the discussion that's needed, not only for yourself, but your community. And the question should be, why? Why is there so much investment in discord than connection? But I get it. As I always say, you are what you attract. So if all you know is drama, so shall your reality reflect it. And then you got people like, and here's another thing too, I'm going to throw this out there. You might not know this. See, there is a market, a social media market, where people actually believe that if they take it upon themselves to find their companion, it will be your forever. You do understand it doesn't work that way. That's no different than a woman asking a man for his hand in marriage. You know you're cursing your relationship when you do that. Why? Because divinely it was not set to be that way. Amongst other things. It's like we've gotten comfortable and want to blame. You can't look for forever in a boy when you deserve a spiritual man. You do understand your greatest lover will be somebody that is spiritually connected. You didn't know that, right? That's why you get caught up in bad boys and bad girls, because it's the thrill. It's the thrill of the risk. But anything worth risk won't find love, because where love is protection. So it's a contradiction of the act. Who am I talking to? That's why some of y'all are frustrated. You're like, you're at the point you want to give up on what you need. Or maybe that might not be a bad thing for the time being, because just like you can't go in a grocery store and come up to the register with a bunch of groceries and expect to pay for it with your smile. No, it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. So why would you take your physical self and use your heart as the emotional credit card? No, that's going to bounce. There's going to be insufficient funds. It's not going to be able to go through. Why? That's not the system. Never was, never will be. But I'm going to stop right here. For those who are waiting for the Twin Flames video, I will do it this weekend. If you have any questions or concerns, or if there's something that you would like me to discuss, drop me a message in the comments. Do not worry about your privacy, because everything is private until it is vetted through me. So you don't have to worry about that. But what I do know is you deserve to be happy. But you can't be happy if you're constantly running from yourself. And you know who you're really running from? Let's call it for what it is. The longer you stay on that journey to nowhere, you're doing a disservice to that little boy and that little girl that lives inside you still, waiting for you to come back home emotionally, spiritually. That's why all money ain't good money, especially when it comes to you, because when it comes to you, you're priceless. Tell me I'm wrong. If you're feeling what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up, share. I look forward to the future lives that will be coming. And I'm going to advertise. You guys are going to be proud. Oh, I didn't tell you this. Another thing, and I know this is starting to sound cliche, I am going to also have a call-in podcast show as well. Now, with that being said, I've been working on my trademark, because for some you guys know me by my government, Gerald Davis. Well, once everything is finalized and I have my trademark, I'm going to change my content, and it will fall under a banner that I am not going to reveal that right now, because I don't want to sabotage, because the devil's work is never done. We know that. There are those that just want you to be in despair because they sit at that endless table called misery. But once you sit down, your life stops. And as long as your life stops, you're doing a disservice for the people that will come after you. So you got to do your work by loving yourself first. Who am I talking to? It can't be measured by the size of your backside. It cannot be determined by the strokes and the sway of what's found between your legs. It is defined by your spiritual essence and ultimately displayed by your legacy. I love each and every one of you. Stay tuned.